Okay, so we are live. Okay. Welcome to
Okay.
Safarnama, a foundation by Gurukul Dream Foundation. Today we have Mr. Harkunwar Singh Sethi, who is the co-founder and head of content strategy Skim. Welcome to the show, sir. It was so nice having you here. Thank you so much. Can you please introduce yourself?
Okay. So, hi, Tuvyam. Hi, everybody. Thanks a lot for this opportunity. And I'm really pleased to get this session done with all of you. Yes. So, as Tuvyam has already explained a bit, I am Harkunwar Singh Sethi, and I'm the co-founder and head of content strategy at Skim. Skim is an edtech startup. More on that a bit later. It's our own venture. We are bringing the world's first micro learning platform to everyone globally, in fact. And yes, that is pretty much it. This is my second stint in entrepreneurship. I've had a sports entertainment startup in the past as well. And yes, basic engineering plus MBA before that. Very common, about nothing new about that. So yes, that's about it.
Okay, fantastic. So can you just tell me about your previous startup, like which you had in sports?
Okay, so the earlier one was in the sports entertainment domain, and we had created devices. So rarely do we see physical products as startups these days, but yes, that was
Right.
dealing with physical products, and those devices were meant to enhance the spectator experience in sports stadiums. Whenever you visit any sport, India, it's predominantly cricket, so you get these devices, and that they are meant to enhance your experience on the match day. So we got those devices. We worked with Star Sports. A few government approvals were pending. So yes, that was a good stint earlier on. Then we started off with Skim.
Okay, so that startup is still running, and you started this scheme.
So it was the first of its kind product in India, and therefore there were not
Hmm.
many there were not many policies governing the same. They
Okay,
had to create new policies to accommodate it, very much like cryptocurrency these days. So it was
okay,
in the gray zone. Nothing right
okay,
about it, nothing wrong about it either. So that is why, due to those government approvals, things took a lot of time, and that is why we had to stop that in midway.
okay, okay. So, how did you turn an entrepreneur? Like you did your engineering, then MBA, then after that you did a job, or you continued with the entrepreneurship journey?
So for me, I have been pretty ambitious, but it was not very clear that I had to go forward with entrepreneurship itself. I explored a lot of things. As I said, I went into the technical field first, engineering, appeared for my GRE. Then gradually, while appearing for CAT, and I used to train students for CAT as well, gradually I got to know that yes, management is something I want to get into as studies. Still, in until I got into management, I wasn't sure that I had to go ahead with entrepreneurship. But yes, I think it was first year in college, and then it struck me, and then yes, we started thinking of it, started studying more and more on it, and that was what I had to do. It was a matter of time I when I did it. And yes, I worked for a year through campus placement. I completed my
Hmm.
MBA from XLRA Jamshedpur. Then I went ahead with a job with a corporate. And yes, as I said, it was just a matter of time that I had to start something on your own. Worked there for a year or so, and post that I jumped into this field called entrepreneurship.
Okay, fantastic. XLRI Jamshedpur is one of the finest MBA institution. So just take me through your journey in that college. Like,
Oh,
how is
it's
it
see,
about to
see
study there?
you. I mean, see, it's a common phrase. It's quite a cliche, but you have to be there to experience it. There is, when we say it's one of the higher ranked colleges, it is premium. I mean, it's hard for everyone to get into the same, but when you do get into the same, you are with all the people who cleared the same exam, who cleared the same set of interviews, and have and those who have come through the same stringent set of selection process. When you are with them for the whole of 2 years, I mean, studying with them, enjoying with them, and also to top it up, the teachers who teach us students, it's an entirely different learning experience, and not just learning experience. When we are at a good college, uh, that I pretty much buy the statement that the way you do something is the way you do everything. So if you are focused on your academics part, I mean, it's pretty likely that you would be a lot focused on the enjoyment part as well. So everything is to the extreme, and the experience was great in terms of learning, in terms of enjoyment. And yes, you make friends forever, you make contacts forever, and the brand name lives on with you. So that
Definitely.
is pretty important, and we always hope that we also contribute to the brand name. People get a good image, a better image of the college because of you, and that would be a privilege.
Absolutely. So, right after your post graduation, you joined a company. So, what was the
Yes.
transition like from a good high paying job to a startup where is everything is uncertain? So, how did you take that leap of faith?
See, uncertainty is the catchword here, as you rightly said. There is nothing startup there is nothing certain when it comes to startup. Whether your idea, which is just an idea in the initial days, would it crystallize into an actual product, whether it is tech or physical product, that is uncertain. Whether you'll get resources for it, whether you'll get buyers for it, whether you'll get employees who are willing to work for it, everything is uncertain. So if you are the one, I mean, this is a piece of advice for everyone. If you are someone who does not embrace uncertainty, uh, this may not be the right way. I mean, see, there's no blanket rule, there's no one size fits all approach. But yes, uncertain, because you, Tuvyam, yourself said it. I am elaborating on that. Uncertainty is the
Right.
key. You have to embrace uncertainty. Every day is uncertain. You won't know what exactly would you be doing, which kind of people you would be dealing tomorrow. And embracing uncertainty is important. If you are prepared for that uncertainty, if you are prepared for the high risk high return scenario of a startup, I think you would do very well. So don't just dive into it just because someone else has done it. If you really are into it, if you have a product, or if you've thought of something which you feel would change the world, then please go into it. There's a lot of space for everyone.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, just tell me about your startup, Skim.
Yes, so now I'll come on to Skim. Skim, as I said, it's the world's first micro learning platform. So the way we perceive edtech these days is online classes. So in edtech,
Right.
people say that it's hard to innovate in edtech, but that is not what we believe. We felt that there is still a lot of room for improvement, and we came up with this micro learning platform, which, as I said, is a blue ocean, which has not been done before. And in Skim, people, I mean, it's primarily targeted to school students for now. And later on, we'll go into test prep, etc. But for school students would be able to learn every concept in just 40 seconds, right from the offering, right from the content, right from and the business model. Everything is different. So yes, it belongs to the edtech industry because it is dealing with education and students.
Mhm.
Everything else other than that is absolutely new. So that is what we brought. We started
Okay.
with Skim 2 years back, and went ahead with an MVP, which we believe is very important. You have to start small,
Mhm.
iterate, keep taking feedback, see if, I mean, because you are always in love with your idea. Whether people are
Right.
loving your idea as well, that remains to be seen. So for us, it was students, they were the eventual users. We did an MVP with 7,000 plus students, got their feedback, made a few iterations, went ahead with the full product, raised our first round of investment, and yes, it has been good. We've been getting good response from students as well as the parents, and even schools and teachers. So yes, that
Okay.
reinforces your feeling that okay, you're doing something good for the society.
Okay, fantastic. So you raised your first set of funding after
Yes.
creating your MVP. So,
Ha.
like in today's scenario, does getting a funding based out of MVP के basis पे सिर्फ आपको funding मिल जाना, is it possible? Also, यहाँ पे आपका जो tag था जमशेदपुर, Auxiliary जमशेदपुर का, वो काम आया?
Absolutely. So two parts to your question. I'll answer the latter one first. See, tag matter करता है. whenever you are sitting with investors, or even before when you are sitting for a post graduation college interview, अगर आप IIT बॉम्बे से आपने graduation करा है तो it matters definitely.
Right.
These are not necessary or sufficient conditions, but they surely help. उससे क्या आपका एक इमेज इंप्रूव हो जाती, पीपल फील दैट हाँ यार पढ़े लिखे बंदे कर रहे हैं तो कुछ सोच के ही कर रहे होंगे, तो इट डज मैटर, आई वोंट डिनाई दैट. But it is not the only thing. Life is full of examples. You'll see a lot of people doing very, very well, who have, I mean, who do not have a great academic background, or do not have any academic background for that matter. So eventually, it's your product that people buy. Eventually, it's your product that investors buy, and that is what matters. These things could add on to your persona, add on to your profile. But if the investor does not like your product, does not like the scale that your product can reach, he or she would not invest in it. As simple as that. Like in interviews, if the person does not like you, no matter which college you are from, the person won't select you. And if the person likes you, then the person will try to find reasons to select you. So, yes, your personality is made up of all these things, which includes your achievements of the past, but it's not that you have to be totally reliant on that. So, that was the
Absolutely.
second part of your question regarding whether
Hmm.
XLRI helped. I feel it helped, but to an extent. After that, the
Okay.
other things matter. The first part was we were able to raise an investment based on MVP. So, see, investment, I mean, yes, again, it's a buzzword in the startup industry. If you are invested, you are a successful
Yeah.
startup. If you are not, you're not. It's not like that. Investment is
Hmm.
just one step. Your startup, your idea, your processes should function in a way that even if the investment does not come, you would still be able to sustain at least.
Hmm.
For rapid scale up, for rapid expansion, okay, external funds may be required, and because there's no end to it. If you are expanding nationally, then there's always scope globally. But it should not be a prerequisite to your startup that फंड नहीं मिला तो स्टार्टअप चला ही नहीं
Hmm.
पाएंगे. देयर unit economics, business model, these things do matter. They may be out of fashion in entrepreneurship magazines and websites,
Hmm.
but they matter a lot. So investment, it's a good to have, but it's not something that is necessary, that should be necessary to sustain your startup. Regarding us,
Definitely.
we started off with an edtech startup when there was a funding winter, and in which edtech was the most affected post COVID.
Right.
So edtech is considered to be the graveyard of startups these days from the last 2 years or so.
Hmm.
We The reason I say that we were able to we managed to raise a fund was again because we focused a lot on the basics. But when it comes to basics in a startup, yes, the idea matters, but the scalability also matters.
Hmm.
Bringing something new to the market is not entirely. See, I mean, we always often have heard of the phrase that there is a gap in the market, but is there a market in the gap? Don't
Hmm.
just do something new for the sake of doing something new. It has to be a product, it has to become a scalable product. So with our case, we focused on these basics. The processes, we focused a lot. The unit economics part I had already said. And yes, we were able to show that there is scalability in this particular startup even in this funding winter. And those were the reasons I feel we were able. We have a good team. We are brother co-founders, and we've started this together. So all those factors helped. But yes, these things matter a lot: scalability of a startup, scalability with cost efficiency, and MVP becomes very important because you have done and shown something that okay, this works. We have this set of users who like the product, and this is a decent enough set. So the investor doesn't entirely have to take a leap of faith that
Hmm.
I mean, it's just an idea that you are buying. Yes, ideas also get invested, but when you move ahead after idea with an MVP and then with a product, the investors have more checkpoints to assess whether this is investable or not. So these things matter, and I feel everyone could still raise funds if that is what you require. But focus on the basics. The basics are the business fundamentals I'm talking about.
Okay. Okay. So you are building a startup in short form, or we can say micro content level. आपको नहीं लगता कि this will reduce the attention span of the students to way more? Reels,
Actually, so
Instagram Reels वगैरह ने कर दिया है. Yeah.
it's a good question, but see, the actual problem statement is exactly the other way around. Whenever we sit in investor pitch decks, whenever we are presenting for investment, or whether we are meeting a school, trying to collaborate with schools, this is our first. I mean, student attention span is going down is a major problem that we are trying to solve. So
Hmm.
because it is going down, we are addressing that if after these things, the attention spans are going down and you bombard them with a lot of things which are available everywhere, they may not even look into it.
Hmm,
So
hmm,
we
hmm,
have
hmm.
created content and the whole pedagogy and the whole product user experience in a manner that even if the attention span is going down, the students would still be able to cope very well with the schools, with their own studies, self-paced, self-learning. That is what we focus on. So
Okay.
it is because of the Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts that we
Hmm.
had to come up with this, and that is how we went ahead.
Okay. Is it possible to learn a new topic or a concept in just 40 to 45 seconds?
Yes, we focus on that. When it comes to school classes, we see, I mean, I'm pretty sure we've all used those books. When we went back to creating content
Hmm.
using the same NCRT books, we got to know that NCRT, with all due respect, is absolutely the same still. There's no change. So
Absolutely.
it
Hmm.
lacks engagement, it lacks vibrance, and therefore we felt that it's hard for us who have, I mean, gradually you improve your reading habits and you come across pages and things and you read a lot in your work also. But if it's so difficult to read for us, how difficult would it be for a 15-year-old, for a 16-year-old? So that is why
Absolutely.
we've brought that format in this format, and that's why we are collaborating with schools. We are not competing with them, because they agree
Okay.
with this, that the whole thing is made engaging, the whole studies
Hmm.
has been made easier, less cumbersome, and yes, the business model also supports that, the user experience also supports
Hmm,
that,
hmm, hmm.
and therefore we do have models in which people can learn, students can learn a concept in
Okay.
40 seconds.
Okay. Okay. Fabulous. Now, आपने बोला that you are collaborating with schools. So, schools का इसमें क्या फायदा है? What is your business model? Can you like just have a walkthrough?
राइट, सो स्कूल्स के इसमें मल्टीपल फायदे होते हैं. एक, सी, अगेन, सिंस आवर टाइम, जब हम लोग भी स्कूल में थे, काफी टाइम हो गया वैसे उस बात को, बट जब हम लोग भी स्कूल में थे, देयर वाज एन इंट्रिंसिक कंपटीशन बिटवीन स्कूल्स एंड कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स.
Hmm.
स्कूल टीचर्स कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स की बुराई करते थे. दे ऑलवेज प्रेफर्ड कि आप किसी कोचिंग में मत जाओ, स्कूल में सब हो
Hmm,
रहा है.
hmm.
कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स बोलते थे कि स्कूल में कुछ नहीं हो रहा, आप हमारे पास आके पढ़ो, एंड सो ऑन. सो that barrier was the reason why a lot of edtech startups, even big companies, were not collaborating with schools.
Hmm.
We tried to understand first the pain points that were there with schools in collaborating with private players, and then we
Hmm.
tried to address that. We've kept it entirely based on the syllabus. तो स्कूल को जब पता चलता है कि जो हम पढ़ा रहे हैं वही ये लोग भी पढ़ा रहे हैं, it's just the pedagogy that is different. So
Hmm.
that competition wali feeling goes down. So that is
Okay.
one primary reason why schools are on board. We are complementing their offerings. Even in our communications, we always say that school studies cannot be substituted. We feel that school,
Hmm.
I mean, because school is not just about academics. अभी बीच में आ रहा था,
Right.
ठीक है, it's about views. So my view is different, but बीच में आ रहा था purely online schools. जो कॉलेज में भी आपने एक्सेल आर आई के बारे में पूछे, इफ आई रिमूव द फिजिकल एस्पेक्ट ऑफ इट, द लर्निंग वुड गो डाउन ड्रास्टिकली. It's not just
Definitely.
about the books you read and the exams you take. It's about the experience. School mein to you're in your formative years, these things matter. So I don't think schools need to be substituted. Therefore we are complementing their offering. School में पढ़ो,
Hmm.
इसको पढ़ो, काफी है. And that is the reason
Okay.
why schools are collaborating, because we address those pain points between schools and coaching institutes.
Okay, so in layman terms, you are just replacing coaching institutes and by collaborating schools के schools बोलेंगे कि अगर coaching लेनी है तो you can take this one.
Again, so see, coaching institute, I mean, we neither are saying that you go ahead with them, nor we are saying you skip them altogether.
Okay.
What we are saying is going ahead with a coaching institute is a student and the student's parents' choice.
Okay.
I mean, we are absolutely fine. But because we have collaborated with schools, this is an offering which is a must, which should be
Okay.
brought to every student, and we are trying to tackle that strata of students as well, who have been deprived of quality education just because they cannot afford major coaching institutes. So we are trying to address that gap as well, and therefore even the smaller schools are collaborating.
Okay.
It's just early days,
Fantastic.
but that is the vision behind it, to bring quality education to every student, not just in India, but across the globe, to bring micro learning to people, to collaborate with schools. And that is the vision. As I said, it's just early days, but we are striving for that.
Okay, fantastic. So, one more question. Like, school students, we have seen a rise of students appearing for JEE and NEET examination. Now, Allen Institute has also stated it's like a center where students can enroll from the sixth grade to 12th grade. They have the hostel classes and everything. School students are skipping schools and going to coaching classes for further studies so that they can appear in the JEE examination. Do you think is it good? And what is this with this culture of going to IIT and studying there?
See, it's not just, I mean, IITs are the premier institutes of the country. There's absolutely no doubt about that. And because they are premier institutes and we have a huge population, there has to be a lot of competition.
Right.
When students appear for such exams, they build a lot of things, they develop a lot of things in the competitive scenario. Yes, it comes with a lot of drawbacks as well, but I mean, they may still land up at a very good college even if it is not an IIT. So I
Okay.
don't have anything against the culture per se, but we all have to understand that eventually the studies are the same. If the basics are strong, you can build on the basics. We often give the example of, I mean, cricket world cup का माहौल चल रहा है, चलो क्रिकेट की बात करते हैं. So if a batter, okay, let me correct, it's batter now. If a batter is not able to hold the bat properly, if there is no technique at all, could you just ask him to go and smash 20 runs of the last over? No. The point is, the technique has to be worked, the groundwork has to be done. And if the groundwork is sound, then the batsman may or may not be able to accelerate. But at least he would be able to start. The same thing I'm bringing to studies. Without focusing on the basics, can we expect anyone to clear IIT? Forget
No.
IIT, IIT JEE. I mean, there are far lower exams than that, far lower difficulty level exams. No one can. What we say is focus on the basics, build the concepts, and eventually they will land you in good state when it comes to clearing these competitive exams as well. So we take the other way around. It's not that we focus on the results and then think what to study. We are saying that focus on the basics, results will take care of themselves.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much. It
Thanks a
was so
lot.
nice connecting with you.
It was great, Tuvyam. Thanks a lot for your whole team, and it's a
Yeah,
pleasure. Let me know if there is anything else.
definitely. Also, best of luck for your future venture. This is
Thanks
Skim.
a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Bye bye. Take care.
Bye bye. Take care.